I made the mistake of showing my child the Tigga Mac um, checkerboard cake, and now that's what he wants for his birthday. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out if I can make this happen. Okay, so this is going to be a multi-step process because unlike Tigga Mac, I think that's how you say her name, I don't have a bakery that makes good cakes here for me to just go pick up cakes pre-made and mix them together to make these flavors. Um, I'm going to bake all of the cakes, box mix. So we're doing French vanilla, German chocolate, strawberry. Those are the flavors my kid decided on. He picked them out himself. And we're going to go with that. So I'm going to bake each one individually, and we're going to be putting them in 9x13, which I'll show you. 9x13 pans. Why, you ask? Well, I want it shaped like a lasagna, and the best thing I could do is a 9x13 pan to make it lasagna shape. It's going to be a very hefty cake, but I need it to sit in my fridge for at least a day or so that it can solidify enough for me to cut it and do the next step. So I'm not going to film myself bake each cake. I will probably only go through one cake because they all have the same directions on the back. And for anyone who's never baked a cake before, I'll do one cake for you, and then I'm going to lock in and probably watch one of my shows while I do the other two. Or chat with my friends. Who knows? It depends on what time it is after I get the first cake done. Okay, so, the instructions on the back say you need 1 cup of water, half a cup of vegetable oil. I got my vegetable oil here. I got my water here. And then it says I need 3 large eggs for each one. And anyone who goes eggs in this economy, we don't really go through eggs as fast as we used to. So I was actually surprised that I had 9 eggs to do this cake. And since I only do it once a year, I'm at my wit's end, and it's what he wants. So that's what I'm gonna do. It says heat oven to 350 for aluminum or glass pan, and grease bottom only of pan. Grease bottom only for the size pan I'm using, and mix cake, water, oil, and eggs in a large bowl with a mixer on medium speed, or beat vigorously by hand for 2 minutes. So my husband gave me this as a gift. It was not a gift I asked for. Initially, I was not happy about it, but now it has become like my best friend in the kitchen when it comes to baking. The whole reason I got into baking my son's cake for his birthday is because I had one year where I ordered it at the commissary at the base we were at, and they did such a horrible job. And I went to pick it up on his birthday that I had to last minute pick up a plain cake and then try to cover it in different types of candles to distract from the fact that it didn't have his name on it. And I will put the cake that I did at the end of this, because the cake that didn't have his name on it, I don't think I have any pictures of. So, to save myself the stress and headache of receiving a either funny tasting cake or a cake with things written incorrectly on it or not what I ordered, I started baking myself. You will notice a pattern with me of when I get fed up with poor service or overpriced service, I teach myself how to do it. I taught myself how to braid my own hair. I taught myself how to do my own nails. I also taught myself how to bake because I don't want to waste that kind of time and energy on a bad cake for any of my family members' birthdays. Something I've learned. Do I know how to make a profit off of any of these skills? No. I just keep picking up skills. Look, it's like in a video game where you're just picking up different skills for different jobs or whatever. So yeah. Anywho, for this particular instance, since we are doing a cake, anyone who doesn't know, when you are baking, you mix the wets first, separate from the dry stuff. So because I'm using box mix, all the sugar and flour and everything is already pre-mixed for me. So all I gotta do is toss the eggs in here and put the oil and water in here and then let it mix. And I got cake mix after I pour the cake mix in last. But for anyone who doesn't know that, if you mix them out of order, sometimes it can get chunky and the consistency is off. Okay, I'm not going to do anything seductive with my baking. We're not diddling eggs. We're not humping tables and stuff. We just baking. That's what I'm here for. So we're going to do 3 eggs. And since I'm going to be using all these eggs, I don't mind putting them back in here. And for anyone who's already wondering, yes, I wash my hands after handling eggs because ain't nobody got time for salmonella. But just showing it this way in the first place. So yeah, there we go. And then my pinky did not touch it, which I don't know why I don't touch my pinky to that stuff, but here we go. I'm going to pause this real quick. All right. We got our 1 cup of water, half a cup of vegetable oil. And for anyone wondering, I have heard that a lot of bakeries actually prefer to use the box mix. So it's not really taboo to not make it 100% from scratch, which I thought it was for the longest time. So yeah. So now we're going to do that, and while that is mixing, which it doesn't take long, but I just leave it like that and kind of let it do its thing, to make sure it mixes together properly, I'm going to get my pan spray to add to the pan. And I know you guys can hear me because I'm using my headphones. Not judge the fact that I need a step stool because I am bored. Okay. Oh. Alright, so this will be cake number 1 that we're doing. There's just the bottom, so we're just going to do the bottom. Very specific. Okay. I am fortunate that these cakes all use the same mixing process, so that makes it a little bit easier. Okay. So I'm going to do these in a particular order because I do have one of my son's friends who I know is allergic to red dye. So I'm going to make them a small cupcake separated from everything else in an attempt to keep them from having any little allergic hiccups. I'm looking for scissors for anyone wondering what is going on. They're already here. But yes, so I'm going to make the vanilla cake first because that one does not have red dye in it. And I will be making them their own cupcake to have at the party because I am aware of allergies. Alright, so now it's mixing, and I love the convenience of it mixing on its own, because then I can do other things. Oh. But in this case, I'm literally just hands-free watching it mix. Alright. Okay, scrape it all in to make sure it's mixing. You can do this by hand. I just have really bad carpal tunnel along with all my back issues. If you have watched the rest of my channel, you would know this. So if I can make my life a little bit easier somehow, I will. And luckily my husband got this before the prices of these things went up. So I know that I have kitchen supplies that are worth an obscene amount of money right now, and it just blows my mind because that's not how much I originally got them for. So yeah. Alright, so that is mixed, I think. Got a couple little nuggets of batter that did not mix properly. Okay, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to scrape that off a little bit. And then I'm going to pour it directly into this pan I just sprayed that you guys saw. Now, for my kid's birthday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him his own little cupcake to have for his birthday. And then for his friend, we just have the cupcake for the separate allergies that he'll have at the party. But for my kid's birthday, I'm going to make him a Neapolitan cupcake. So that's what I'm doing right now, is taking out just a little bit to make this one child a cupcake who has allergies, and just a little bit for my child to have a Neapolitan cupcake for his birthday. Hopefully it works and does not make it weird. Also, I'm doing laundry for anyone who's wondering what that god-awful noise is. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, so we're going to scrape that off. Put that right there for now. And I'm going to take this off now that it has dripped a bit and put it in the sink, because we're going to move on to the next cake in like 2 seconds. All right. Okay. So this is cake number 1. And yes, I know it is precariously perched. I just realized that as I was pouring it that, man, this would suck if it like flipped off the counter onto the ground. So we're gonna do that nice and neat. And it looks like it'll make thin sheet cake layers, which will work well in my favor. And so because we want the colors to have a hard contrast, I will be rinsing everything off for that exact purpose. Yeah. Okay, so we got cake number 1. Now, I'm not going to show you this process over and over with every single cake because I ain't got time for that. Okay, so according to the instructions, for the 13 by 9, it says 28 to 33 minutes. For cupcakes is 14 to 19 minutes. So for these, I'm going to put it on 14 minutes since I'm making 2 little cupcakes. And then when the cupcakes can come out, then I shall rotate these between top and bottom racks to make sure they're cooking evenly for the last 14 minutes, because 14 times 2 is 28. So that's how I'm doing this. Okay, so let's put these in here. I have all 3. We got strawberry, vanilla, German chocolate. I am thoroughly amused that I originally did not realize my child was requesting a Neapolitan cupcake or checkerboard cake. I'm hoping these flavors actually work well together, because I have legitimately no idea if they'll work well together in cake form. So those are the cakes, and then my 2 cupcakes, one for my child's friend and one that I'm going to give my son tomorrow for his birthday. And hopefully when for his birthday doesn't just freak out. So we shall see. So now I'm going to sit and relax for 14 minutes. And we'll see where we're at. I'm showing you this because I figure for people who've never baked before, this is important. This is the toothpick test. I have a kebab skewer. Same difference. So you stick it all the way through. And if it comes out clean as in there's no wet residue on it, then it's done all the way through. Now, the key part with cakes and cupcakes is before you put icing on them, they need to cool 100%. Because if you try to put icing on them while they're still warm, the icing will just melt off. I have done it before. It's annoying and it sucks. You have to wait for the cake to cool all the way through. So these are just baking basics that I know.